When we're live. Oh.
1 second. We have to wait. Now we're live. Okay, welcome everyone to number 2, Parenting Beyond COVID, which once again, I have another name in my head, but I can't find right now. Because Parenting Beyond COVID, it's like COVID. Okay, good. Hi, Megan.
Hi, Brendon.
Hi. So let's talk parenting.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. So I have no idea where to start today. Where do you want to start?
Well, parenting beyond COVID. We're in COVID. So maybe we talk a little bit about what parents can be doing right now in the heat of it.
Yeah, definitely. So, I mean, we talked about in the last one that we have with this, but also it's like, I guess what I want to get to in this series is like getting beyond that place where you have to judge yourself as a parent. One of the questions I've been doing this media stuff, that one of the questions I asked was, what's the hardest thing as a parent? And I was like, making yourself wrong. I mean, we all do it as parents. We do it constantly. We do it daily. We do it in every moment with every choice we make. But the only reason we do it is so that we can get parenting right. I'd like to get us out of that part where we have to think that we need to get parenting right. But in order to get it right, what we do also is we hide all of these different parts and pieces of ourselves from our kids. We go, okay, so being the right parent would be structure. Time is this time. Food time is this time. School time is this time. This is what we do based on a structure rather than who are we as beings. And that might sound like airy free to a lot of people when you're like, oh yeah, I know, but I've got kids and I've got to put them in, I've got to bath them, I've got to feed them, I've got to get them to school. Yeah, but what about the question of it? Like, where are we in question with it?
Well, do you hear my background right now?
No.
Exactly, because it's silent.
Because your monster is not there?
Because I've since September or whatever the first day of school was, I was trying desperately to get it right. So the right way to do currently with, if you've got kids, some of you guys are homeschooling, some of you aren't. And there's just so much judgment around it, whether or not they have to wear a mask or how long they have to go or all sorts of stuff. So I've been, it's about a month, I guess now, where I was really trying to keep up with the schedule that the school has and keep up with my work life and like all of it. And I was failing. And just really wanted to bring up, like, if you're a parent out there and you're trying to get it right, I have silence right now because I finally looked at, okay, what's going to actually work for both of us? Because it wasn't working to have him at home. It wasn't working for him and it wasn't working for me.
Well, and you've also got a kid that is like dynamic in energy.
Yeah.
He's like, it's just like, can I bounce off every single wall in the whole room? Can I run on the ceiling? Can I do all this? And it's like, trying to homeschool a kid like that is torture.
Yeah.
But doing it from that of, well, this is what I have to do and this is what's right, is the place that stops us from seeing, okay, what works for him?
Yeah.
And I mean, for him, how much does he love being around people?
He does.
When he wants to.
And he really, what I looked at with him, because every kid is different. And so I kept trying to fit what would work for him into what I've heard was working with other kids. So some kids are doing great, sitting online, learning on their own. They're loving it. What I noticed with him was that he did well if I was sitting right next to him and working with him through every assignment.
Yeah.
And that I could do that for about an hour. And then I have a life too. I have a job. I have to actually get stuff done. So we'll see. Today's his first day. He's going to his school where they've got about 15 kids. And he has people there that will actually, he has other kids there, and he has people there that will actually work with him on his assignments. So choice creates awareness is another tool to use as a parent.
It certainly does. But let's talk about that part then when I have a life also. Because
Yeah.
that's what I see a lot of people do is it's like they go, well, I mean, I remember for me when Nash was about to be birthed into the world, all my friends at the same time were having babies, and they were like, well, you've had your fun. Now it's time to give up your life. Now it's time to settle down. And I was like, why? I'm having a child. Why does this mean I have to give up my life? But everyone would say that, and I'd be like, but why? But I think that's one of the points of view that we buy into is you have to give up your life in order to be a parent, rather than where's my life also.
Yeah, for sure. And the other, I don't know if it's different for mothers or fathers, but it's like I made myself really wrong because I didn't want to give up my life, because everyone around me was like so happy to to have their entire life be about their kids. And I was not a happy camper doing that. I mean, when I had Tristan, I took a year off. Well, I thought it was just going to be a year, but I decided to not go back to work. And I was like, I will give him the best life ever. And I will be a stay at home mother and make sure that I take care of him the way that he should be taken care of. And
Well, can I ask you a question on that though?
Yeah.
Did you have him to give up your life?
To be honest, I was bored.
But did you have him to give up your life?
No.
Yeah. And that's what a lot of people do is they go, well, I've had enough. I've had enough of living. My biological clock is ticking and I need to have a kid. So now it's time to give up my life. So everything that you've done to give up your life for your child, which kind of gives your kids the points of view that they can give up their lives for somebody else, well, you destroy and uncreate it all.
Yeah.
Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine shorts, boys, millions. And I wasn't pushing that at you. I was talking to everyone else.
It's fine. I've given up my life.
No, I know you too well. I
I'm
know you haven't given up. You will never give up your life.
But the other thing I would say with that is like, just notice areas. Like there are times when I'm like, oh God, I'm doing that again, where I just want to make it all about him, but then I'm not as happy. So, you might, if you're listening to this and you're like, oh shit, I'm doing that, you can change it. That's the thing about these tools and that process that he just ran. It's this magical thing called an access process with the access clearing statement. So there's nothing, it's like if if you have a baby right now and you just realized you just had a baby to give up your life, you can change it. You can choose something else. You can choose something different.
Well, okay, let's talk about that part, the choose something different. Because so I was with a friend a couple of years ago, and we had to go out to lunch and meet somebody, and I was like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. And I was getting frustrated and I was getting heavier and I started giving up myself and I just felt like shit. And when I went, okay, so do I have a different choice right now? And I went, okay, I've made it a necessity that I have to go out to lunch rather than I'm choosing it. And as soon as I went, oh, it's a choice, I can do it or not do it, it became so much lighter in our world, but in my world. But that's the thing we do as parents is we go, well, it's a necessity to raise our kids. It's a necessity to do this, feed them, bath them, blah, 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 rather than, okay, I'm choosing it in every moment. So everything that doesn't allow you to recognize that every single thing that shows up in your life right now, you're choosing, we destroy and uncreate it.
Yes.
Wrong, good and bad. You can pod and pock me if you want.
Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds.
But it's like, but that thing is because what we do. What's that?
I get to be your pock and potter?
Yeah,
Of course.
You're special. But it's like, but that's the thing that we do with kids too, and parenting is we go, well, I have to. As soon as you go, I have to, as soon as you go into that place of need, then you've given you up rather than, okay, I can, I choose. So what choice could you make right now in this 10 seconds that would allow you to see that you're actually making choices and not being demanded of by your children? Everything that is times a godzillion where you destroy and create it.
Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyond. What if you have a very demanding child?
Well, you do.
Yeah.
You do, but it's like, but you're brilliant with it because you look at, okay, what demands are going to create more in his world?
Yeah.
And when he does that, it's like, it's like, because, I mean, anyone who's listening to this, you're all demanding. If you're not acknowledging that, you need to acknowledge it now. You're demanding. You know what you want what you want, you're going to get what you want no matter what. It's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But the same thing with your kids is look at it from that place of, okay, so what are they demanding of me? And what can I contribute to them that's going to create more for them?
That's brilliant.
And Megan and I were talking about we were talking before this Facebook Live, and it was like we were talking about this part from because so the last one we did it was kind of like for me it was this like it was awesome. I loved it, and it was this like how do I like let's move slowly through this, but I say let's move quickly through it. Let's move quickly through it right now. Parenting beyond COVID is parenting beyond this reality. It's parenting into something different, something completely different. And I know for me as a kid, it was it was like, how do I get people to see what I see? And this is as a kid, but how many of you guys did that too? How do I get people to like see the magic and the fun in the world? But what I went, oh, they don't, so I don't. They won't, so I won't. They can't, so I can't, rather than, okay, what if I was willing to just be me no matter what? What I'd like to get to with this is what if your kids and you could just you, no matter what, whatever that is, if that's fucking working as a garbage man, epic, as long as you're happy.
You know what?
It's like,
Well, one of the things that when you're talking about this, one of the things that you've helped me with is that your kids also know, like,
mhm,
where there was a point at which Tristan was gaming a lot, and I was like, "Oh my God, he's only set like now he's 8." So I think at the time he was like, I was starting to have that freak out, which I don't even know if it was my freak out, but you asked, "Well, what does he know about what does he know about his future, and what is this contributing to that future?" And it's just such a different way of looking at it that your kids actually know. You
yeah,
know, and your kids know, and what can you be that empowers your kid to know that they know?
yeah,
Because you're not gonna like, there's so much of the world that Tristan sees that's so different than the way that I see it. But one of the things I keep coming up against with myself is how do I not ever shut that down? You know what I mean? Like if he sees something different or whatever, how do I continuously empower him? Even if I don't see, like you said, you saw all this stuff and nobody else saw it. How do I continue to empower him to keep having that regardless if anyone else sees it or
by
perceives?
being, yeah, but that's that place of by being you.
Yeah.
It's like he came to you.
Hmm.
He came to you. He came to his dad. He knew exactly what he was doing.
Yeah.
And that was one of the things that helped me a lot when I got that with Nash was it's like our kids, they're not kids. They're infinite beings and they come to us with a knowing. They know exactly what they desire to create and they come to us to contribute to it. But the part that we miss as parents is they actually come to us because they know they're smarter than us. And Tristan, for example, the stories that we talk about, I'm like, oh my God, this kid is brilliant. Like he has manipulation down better than me. And I'm really, 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 really good. And I'm like, I mean, he said something the other day that was, what did he say? Where I was like, can I use that?
I can't remember. He says things every single day that I'm like, wow.
Oh no, he came down. So, so I was on the phone with Megan, and he comes down and he says, "Mum, can we go to the swimming pool?" And she was like, "No, go to the swimming pool right now because you were busy. You were busy." And he says, "Okay, can I get it? Can I get a Happy Meal and a McFlurry?" And I was like, "Oh, that was brilliant. You start with the big thing that you know is going to be said no to, and then you add the small thing." And he did his Happy Meal and his McFlurry.
I mean, look at this, you guys. He isn't asked to go swimming all summer.
He didn't want to go swimming.
I've
He
tried to
wanted his
go swimming
McFlurry.
all summer just so I could go to the pool. He has refused to go to the pool all summer. And then he comes down, like this was like 3 days ago. Pool's closed. It's fall.
Which he knew.
He asked to go to the pool just to brilliantly weave in this backup ask, which it's actually really funny because at the same time I've been doing this, I did this telecall series on Dare to Ask. And I was talking with people about, how many times as a kid were you just told no, so you stopped asking. Meanwhile, he's listening to me talking about this and he's constantly asking me for things that I'm constantly saying no to, like V-Bucks, if you guys have kids that play Fortnite, or like McDonald's, but he never stops asking. He continuously asks and asks and asks, and he knows eventually there will be a window that pops and he gets what he wants. And
I love him. He's brilliant.
he definitely got McDonald's, and he has also received V-Bucks this week. So he's doing really well.
Let's just he's in control. That's fun.
Yeah. But this was, one of the things that you talked about on the Facebook Live with Susanna was like about spoiling your kids and also not doing tough love and also like this whole thing. And I was like, okay, there's a point. There's this nice little fine line of giving kids everything they want, totally spoiling them and what that creates. And then there's the thing of like, okay, willing to, it's like, yeah, of course, I could give him like as much V-Bucks as he wants. I could take him to McDonald's every day. And what will that create? And when knowing when to like give in or, give him what he wants, I guess, so that he actually knows that he can continuously ask for and receive what he wants.
Well, it's like, but you don't, the place that, I mean, the way that I grew up was, it was a yes or no universe. So it was like, it was trying to find the answers. It was trying to find the questions to ask so that I could get the right answer. And that's what a lot of us do, rather than like with you, with Tristan, is, okay, is his life going to get easier if I give him this? Is his life going to get greater if I give him this? And if it's yes, it's like, why not?
Well, sometimes I'm asking, is my life going to be easier if I just
Well, but that's the next part. That's what you should do too.
Yeah.
That's what we should do as parents. It's like, I mean, that conversation we were having the other day about the helicopter parenting, the thing that I have to do with media and stuff. And I was looking at it because I did it with Nash. There was a stage where I went, okay, I need to hover over him, and I need to figure out like how to control him, how to make sure he's safe, how to protect him. But that didn't work. There was no question in it. Rather than, okay, what if I let him out of the gate and let him like explore this world on his own, but gave him the tools in the meantime to have him. And it's like,
well, that's one of my favorite things about access consciousness with classes that you've done, classes that Gary and Dane have done. There's a Conscious Kid, Conscious Parents book.
Conscious parents, conscious kids. Yeah.
You have a book, Anonymous Parenting, but it's such a difference, this whole thing of empowering them to actually have awareness and to get the gift of that awareness instead of looking for the answer and the safety and, being able to basically, not ever have to come to your own awareness.
Yeah.
And that's what, with the helicopter parenting, it's we were talking, there's a thing in the US, which I have to bring up just because I think it's funny, but there's a name that these kids have given to helicopter parents, and it's Karen. And I think that she is like a reality TV star. I think she's the lady that had like all these kids. Anyway, I don't know the whole backstory. All I know is when I start being the helicopter parent, Tristan now calls me Karen. He's like, "Mom, stop being a Karen."
Wait, I thought it was because of like caring.
No,
Caring.
Karen is a name. K-A.
Oh my God, you've just shocked me.
No.
I thought that because it was Karen, it was because it was Karen too much.
No, it has nothing to do with caring. It's all about being a helicopter parent. So Karen is like a middle-aged woman in her 40s who is a helicopter parent. It's the name of a woman.
Okay.
So kids are if you ever get called a Karen and your name is not Karen, just know it's a derogatory statement. That you're being too overprotective, too controlling, too in their business, and yeah. So.
Well, that was the chat we were having too, though. Like you were telling me about that, but now I'm shocked because I thought it was because of Karen, like caring.
No.
Karen, caring, kind of like.
That's the accent.
You don't see the similarity.
I see it, but I didn't see it before.
But it's like, but that was the thing we were talking about, was because it's like, so you were telling me this story about these kids in the pool who had a lifeguard, and the lifeguard was controlling them, but also will take care of them.
Well, she was doing, I would say in this place, I could see where they were thinking, like they just wanted to jump off. They weren't doing crazy jumps or anything. They were just breaking the rules.
Kids.
They were being kids. So yeah. She blew the whistle at them, and they said, "Sorry, Karen." And they turned around, and I saw them, and they thought it was so funny. And so she had apparently heard this term, and she goes, I know you guys know my name's not Karen. Don't call me Karen." But they just thought it was so funny. So I thought it was funny. But when we had this conversation, one of the things that we looked at was that line of like, when kids are doing it, like, don't, control me, don't whatever. Can you talk about that line? Like with.
Well, it's like, it's empowering your kids to learn kindness as well, because what a lot of kids do is it's what we do as parents is we go into, okay, must control in order to get our kids to do what we want. But in order to control, we have to push. So we go into this place of, okay, to push energy at this kid in order to dominate them as if they don't have awareness. What we need to do different is come from the place of, okay, so what's going to work here? We have to get to questions with it. And one of the things that just popped up now was there's this 12-year-old kid that is feeling really different. He's finding it hard to find friends. How do you get friends? Well, okay, let's start with the question. What do you need friends for? Now, that would be a question that most people would go, what do you mean by that? Well, what do you need friends for? Do you need them for companionship? Do you need them because you need them? Do you need them because you like people? Do you need them because you want to be around someone? This is that place. Like if we get to the place where we're willing to be so honest with ourselves and we can teach our kids that, what a different world we could grow up in. Like, I mean, I know for me as a kid, when I was 6, I knew exactly what I wanted, exactly who I was, just was happy being me. And then I went, but wait a minute, I need to fit in. How do I do that? Well, obviously give up everything that's valuable about you. Give all that up so that you can fit in. What if we didn't have to do that anymore? So I would ask him, okay, so what would you like friends for? And then when he says, I don't know, because I like them, okay, what would it take for kids to show up in your life that like you?
That's what I was going to say. You can start teaching them that they can ask for it.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah. Yep. You froze. Did I freeze?
No, I did.
Oh, there you go. That
but to
the
ask,
other
and then they get to see that it starts showing up and that they are also the creators of their life.
Yeah, that's a big point. That they're the creators of their life. And that's like we were talking about choice before, but so that part is like when your kids say, okay, so how did this happen? What, like when they're having times where it's like, well, but why do I feel unhappy? What, like, well, no, let's not use unhappy, but let's say they get in trouble at school, or they're, having a fight with friends, or they've lost their bike or whatever. Is okay, so what choice did you make that created that? So that they actually they go, I mean, I remember when I used to do this with Nash, and he'd go, what do you mean, what choice? Well, did you make a choice that created that? And he'd go, oh, which is such a gift for our kids, because they get to start seeing that they're choosing their life.
I was just looking at comments. Sorry.
I can't even see the comments.
Yeah. So how do you talk with kids like that because I know I'll do that with Tristan, like, if he's got something on, I'll say things like, okay, so is it yours? And he'll say, yes.
Well, I want you, all right, so I'm going to get to this in 1 minute. But so one of the things we talk about in Access is, I'm keeping flying around, but that's not what we talk about. But is, so 98% of your thoughts, feelings, and emotions don't belong to you. Now, this was a massive gift for me when I came along to Access, because I went, wait a minute, I'm not fucked up, but I thought I was fucked up. But then I started going, is that mine? No, I just am aware of everyone else that's fucked up. But so you told this beautiful story that Dane talked to Tristan about that was the perfect example of who does it belong to.
Yeah. So, especially with small children, but I found that this also worked better for me as well. Apparently, I'm just a ginormous 8-year-old. So we were living in a neighborhood at the time that had lots of, especially during the first month of quarantine, where everyone was like really like stuck in their houses. We were living, there was like increased domestic abuse. There were fights going on. Like people started, especially after like 3 weeks, people started getting a little crazy, and he was picking up on it and getting scared at night. And when I was asking, hey, is it yours? He was just automatically saying yes. So I asked Dane Dane did a kids call. Dane here, if you don't know, he did a kids call for the Be Different, Stay Weird kids. And so Tristan asked the question, and Dane beautifully described it as if I forget the food that he said. He said something like, if you are in a room and someone farts and it smells like tacos and you didn't eat tacos that day, do you still automatically assume it's your fart because you can smell it? He laughed so hard, and the other kids on there were laughing so hard. And it's like, wow, just because you can smell it and perceive it. For kids, it's like smell was perfect, because just because you can smell it doesn't mean it's yours.
Well, I think the perfect thing with that too is humor.
Yeah. Yeah.
We have to be funny too. We have
Yeah.
to use our humor with our kids. It's like we do this serious shit of like, oh, we have to be serious. This is bedtime. This is this. This is this. This is this. Well, okay, but if we look at it and we go, okay, this is what's going to make my life easier, time wise. Okay, I this is when you need to go to bed. This is when you need to eat. Blah blah blah. Whatever. But what could I do right now to turn this into a joke?
Yeah.
Because it's one of the things I love about you two, you and Tristan, is you laugh.
Yeah.
You have fun. Even when you've got the shits with him, you laugh.
Yeah. But that's, I guess another thing that Access has given me is like, okay, when you're being something that you don't even like being as a parent, and Tristan and I made a video on it a long time ago. I think I shared it in the parenting group. Ask yourself, who are you being? And it's
Yeah.
like, he's being cranky. Okay, who are you being? I use it for myself more now. Like, now that he's a little older, he's kind of like, whatever, mom. But if I find myself trying to be a really serious parent, then I'm like, okay, who am I being right now? And where did I come up with that this is the correct way to parent, or, whatever. And who I would truly be would actually be more of that humor and that fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like, there's times he's been having like full on meltdowns, and he's totally believing that he is in this most traumatic situation that you can even, like, he's very dramatic. So it becomes very real, but I don't make that wrong. It's like, when he's had there was one time he was literally like, just the world was going to end. And I just whispered to him and I said, hey, when I was a kid, I used to take things a little too far. So I just want to let you know, if this is the case, if you might have just taken this one a little too far, you can just snap out of it. I won't be mad. Nothing will happen. We can actually laugh at it. So you just let me know. But if it's really this serious, it's okay. But I just wanted to let you know, if you may have taken it too far and you don't know how to get out of it, then we can just, we can forget it ever happened. And like within 30 seconds, he's like, okay, I think I took it too far. And then we laugh forever about it, because it's like,
It acknowledges the truth, though.
Yeah.
You're a great mom. But it's like, that acknowledges the truth. And going, like, I know you and I have had conversations, and I've had conversations with a lot of people where they'll call me on my shit, and you go, oh, yeah, I've been doing that. But it's like, but we got to do that with our kids too.
Well, and what if we do that for you too? What if they're the invitation? Even if you've got, I don't know, I haven't gone into teenage years, so I'm kind of scared at this point.
You have, but it's just the age doesn't like account to it.
I hope that I can, have a conversation with you when he's 15 to see what's actually. I'm gonna have you on speed dial, because I'm gonna really need some.
I tried to tell you, boarding school, boarding school, boarding school.
Yeah.
But I like that you brought that up. So one of the things I wanted to do with this series, and I'm really grateful for this conversation that we're having, is bring as many tools into this as we can also. So what Megan said before is, who are you being right now? Now, one of the things I learned over years and years, I was parenting Nash, and then I just turned into this weird person, and I'd be like, where did I go? When I started Access, I started learning that I wasn't being me at all. I was being either my father or my mother, or the image of what I thought a parent should be. So if you get in a place where you're just like, where did I just go? Like, I feel like shit right now. Who am I being right now? Oh, I'm being my mum. Everything that is. Times a godzillion, right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine, shorts, boys and millions. But that's that place where we, like, moving into a different future, is we've got to get snappy with ourselves. Okay. That means getting snappy with yourself means you've got to be in the instant. You've got to catch yourself when you're doing shit that's not you. Now, also recognize when your kids are doing shit that's not them, but don't judge them for it. Don't expect them to do something different. But if you recognize it, then you could look at, okay, so how can I make this work different for us? And I think that's the place that we need to get to. Is it's like one of the things as a parent is we have to be willing to be a leader. We've got to be a leader in the family. We've got to be a leader in with our kids. But what most of us have been taught or learned is being a leader is like taking control, taking charge, using force. What if a leader was being kind, being caring, recognizing when you're being an asshole and going, oh, I'm an asshole. Okay, good. Now, what else could I choose? Not, I'm an asshole, so I have to function that way. Everything that brought up, times a Godzillion, when you just join and create it.
Yeah.
Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine shorts, boys, millions.
I love that because, I'm seeing the title now, Parenting Beyond COVID. And now more than ever, it's time to be that. There is no reference point for how it's going to be. There is no reference point for any of it. And if you keep going back to, okay, if I do this, then it will turn out this way. The future is so unpredictable now more than ever. And you've got to actually, like you said, get snappy, get quick, and also empower your kids to be snappy and quick and ask questions. And you don't have to force access tools down their throat, but
please don't. Please don't.
But if you be that with them and, like you said, be the leader of it, then it can, it can change. And it's like when you said, if you're an asshole, just acknowledge it. Like there's times when I've just had a really shitty moment and snapped at him or something. And I will just like, okay, I'm having a personal timeout. And then I'll say, I'm really sorry. I just had a cranky moment and I'm really sorry. And that changes so much for him because then he knows it's okay if he has a shitty, cranky moment.
Yeah.
You can just change it.
And isn't that like, but that's you being you though. Like we have this idea that being us is like, and especially as parents, it's like being us is, okay, well, I have to be kind. Well, kindness also comes with so much judgment. And we go, oh, I have to be kind. I have to be caring. I have to be the right mom. I have to be the right dad. It's like we're in turmoil with our minds rather than, oh, I just yelled at my kid. Oops. Okay, sorry. I'm bad. I remember when Nash was, I think he was, Siri's talking to me. I think he was 2 and we were in a supermarket and he was just losing it. He was having a tantrum. And at that stage, I'd left his mum and I was having him week on, week off. So I'd have him for a week and I'd just be like, okay, how do I be super dad? How do I judge myself into being the best father ever? And I went to the supermarkets with him one day and I was exhausted. and he wanted something. Like he might have been 2 or 3, I can't remember, but he wanted something and I don't recall that part. But he was like, I didn't give it to him. And he had a hissy fit. He laid on the floor at the supermarket, was kicking and screaming and just like, it was like, look at my dad. He's the biggest asshole on the whole planet. And I went, what do I do? So I laid on the floor and I kicked and I screamed and I was the biggest asshole ever. And he looked at me like,
Can you
who
go
are you?
right now?
And he never did it again. He went, oh, that didn't work. But it's like, but that part is the part where we've got to start having some more joy with it. Like if we got out of judgment as parents, which even in saying that, it's like, I know I'm not out of judgment as a parent. I mean, we were talking the other day, and
It's the most judgeable. It's one of the most judgeable things.
yeah, well, but the
Obviously.
reason is it's a thing we have to get right. So
Yeah.
what job have you taken on as a parent in order to prove that you can be right, so that you always have to maintain judgment? Are you choosing everything that is times a godzillion? We destroy and uncreate it.
Yeah.
Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine shorts, boys. Wow.
It's almost like it's like, I know with me, I'm like, okay, even with access stuff, I'm like, I just got to make sure that I don't fuck up his whole life. Like if I can at least either give him a tool to change something or whatever, just to make sure that he has the best life possible, rather than looking at like, and I know when I do that, and I know when I'm not doing that, but it's like, I don't know if you said it on this one or another one, but I've heard you talk about when you were just really wanting the best life ever for Nash, but you weren't willing to choose it yourself.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, and that's the leadership part. The only way that I'm going to get out of like have all this stuff with him is that if I keep choosing and showing him by being it and by choosing it that it's possible.
Yep. That, and also like it's not having the projections and expectations of what he should become.
Yeah.
I mean, because that's what we do is we go like, to me, like what I got projected and expected of as a kid was, it's like, growing up in Australia was, you got to be rough, tough, you got to be a man. You got to be like, you would trade, you would be like, raw, you'd be like fucking, you'd be stoic, you'd be staunch, you'd be, and I was like, okay, I'll try that. But for anyone who knows me, that is not me at all. So for me to be stoic and staunch was like, It's like, but this is the thing. These are what we projected our kids, rather than who is this being in front of me? Like, who are they? And I know for Tristan, it's like tap his being, like going, okay, who is this guy? It's like, oh, if we were to be that with our kids, who is this? And the next part I want to see, because what we that is, it's like we get into this spiritual, metaphysical thing with that too, is we go, oh, okay, you are being, go and do whatever the fuck you want. No, that is not being a parent.
Well, can you talk about, I don't know how long you want it to go, but
I'll go as long as I can.
I'll use you for my personal benefit. With Tristan, the line that I am constantly not quite sure of is like control versus out of control.
Mm-hmm.
Because he likes hopscotching that line. I mean, he's probably what I would say the most uncontrollable.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. So
Yeah.
when he does out of control, do you do control?
Yes.
Okay, so that's the part where we use, it's like, so it's like, so if he's out of control, what if you used out of control to control his out of control?
Can you help with an example?
Well, if he's doing out of control,
I'm a control freak, so this is a very,
well, the only one, honey, you're not the only one. We're talking about parenting. We're all control freaks when it comes to parenting. But if he's doing, like, say with his, like, he loves gaming. Yeah, he loves running, gaming.
Yeah.
He loves running around the house crazy. He likes being in control.
Being what?
Out of control.
Yes. Yeah.
So when he's being out of control, if you went, okay, so could I be more out of control than him right now?
Okay.
What would that create?
Yeah.
But now I want to get to the next part of that, because most of us would look at as we go, okay, so out of control means I'm crazy.
Yeah.
No, out of control means you have no definition of the choices that of an outcome of what you choose. You're only using your awareness based on your awareness in order to choose.
Hmm.
That's out of control. Most people think out of control is loony bin crazy. That's not out of control. That's loony bin crazy. So everything you've done to misidentify and misapply what control is, what out of control is, what control isn't, and what out of control isn't, we destroy and uncreate it.
Yep.
Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine shorts, boys, meons. Because out of control could just be this. Could be a simple look. And I
Yeah.
mean, and you have that with him. I've seen you do it.
Well, okay, so then the next part is how do I what's the word? Like I get teach him or show him how to like it's the whole thing of like what you are at home versus what you are when you go out into the world. Like how do I show him like, okay, this might be what you being out of control, like this works, but being out of control at like at soccer practice, it's kind of okay, but he's still the most out of control one on the field. And then at, now that he goes back to school around other people, those are when those control things come up and where we really, because in that moment with other people around, it's like, hang on, we can't be as out of
Well,
control as normal.
okay. So what would you need him to change so that you felt more normal?
Like what's coming up is that I can control him, which is impossible.
Yeah, exactly. But
Yeah.
but with that too, is it's like we like say with like you and I, for example, like if I was going to try and control you right now, what would you do?
Resist and react.
You
Or
go, fuck you, asshole.
yeah.
And I promised
I
myself
was
I wasn't
saying
going
it
to swear too
kindly.
much on these, but I am.
I was saying it kindly, so but yes, the middle finger for sure.
Yeah, but you would. But it's like, but if I was to do that with energy right now, would you still do the same thing?
Probably not.
Yes, you would. I know you.
Do enter oh, yes. No, I thought you meant do the middle finger.
No, you would. But this is what we do with our kids is we go, I want to control you. I want you to. So what have you decided? So this is not for you. This is for everyone. What have you decided?
Nice one.
It is the perfect future for your child based on the torture of your past that doesn't allow them to have choice. Everything that is times again, we destroy and uncreate it.
Yeah.
Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. Wow. So what future are you trying to create for your children so that they don't live the past that you've had? Everything that is times of God's and we destroy and uncreate it.
Yeah.
Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds.
That's because it's actually conflicting future. Do you know what I mean? Like it's a conflicting thing for me. So
Well, I mean, I know for myself, like I remember when Nash was very young, and I was like, okay, so how do I make sure that he's going to have the right life? Like, what do I need to show this kid so that everything's perfect, everything's right? But the only thing I did in that was I taught him how to judge. And this is what we do as parents is we go, okay, like this is good, this is bad. And you go, and as a kid, like you come in, and as kids, we come in as infinite beings, and we're going, okay, infinite being. All I am is space. I'm just space and fun and joy and happy and wonderful and everything's good. And then you go, okay, which part of this is good? Which part of this is bad? Then we split ourselves down the middle and we start trying to find out which side of the line we belong on. We eventually choose one. So everything that you're doing, everything that you've done to choose a side of the line that you could live on, whether it be right or wrong, we destroy and create it.
Yeah.
Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine shorts, boys, millions. Everything that you're doing to kids that there's a line down the middle of life that needs to have a choice made which side you're going to be on, either good or bad. We destroy and uncreate it.
Yeah.
Right and wrong. Oh, you forgot to pock and pod me. I lost my pock and podder.
I'm on the wrong side.
Oh, that's the next part I want to get to. Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine shorts, boys, millions. If you were the worst parent on the planet right now, worst parent ever, ever. And I just want to say something with this too. I apologize to you guys watching this because I had really tried to turn myself down to talk about parenting from this. I was like, well, I've got 6 calls, like I've got 6 Facebook blah blah blahs. I'll get through these slowly. And I'm like, that's not fucking who I am. I want to give you everything right now, but it's like, but you have to be willing to look at it and make a different choice. You've got to be willing to be honest with yourself.
You can't turn yourself up and be a parent.
You can. I've seen you do it, you little shit.
But that's what parenting. It's like I notice that like when I go into parent mode, I'm like, oh, must be into it.
Yeah, but must be right. Exactly. Must be right. I have to get it right. I have to be like a good parent.
Yeah.
You know, rather than what if you laid on the ground next to them in a supermarket and chucked a tantrum with them?
Yeah.
You know, what's gonna create more? What's going to create more? Like, can you imagine? Like, and I hate to use the word imagine. Like, let's go with ponder. Can you ponder? It's like, see, here's the other part we need to get to with this though, because it's like I want to say, can you ponder having a relationship with your kids that you have no judgment of them, and you don't expect anything of them, and you're just joyful with them? As soon as I say that, I get the energy of, yeah, how am I going to control them? If I had that, where's my control? So everything that you're all doing to create judgment in order to maintain control, well, you're just trying to create it.
Yeah.
Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine shorts, boys, millions. That's the part. So I wonder if we can chat about that a little bit, me and you, because that's like in doing the parenting classes over years and years is like it's like getting to that wall where it's like, yeah, but if I'm out of judgment and if I'm not doing this right and wrong thing anymore, and if I'm doing control, then I'm going to have asshole children.
Well, also like what type of parent would you be? Because I think somewhere it's like if I were to truly get out of control as a parent, then I would be the worst parent that's ever existed. And that's the most judgeable offense, you know? The kids are going to be, I mean, it's like, look at you and Nash now. That's from the outside, it's like you guys, your relationship is what it is. But what I see is the gift of you teaching, like he's a teenager, so he's being a teenager. But what you're giving him is the space to learn that is what his choices create.
Yeah.
And
but also it's like, yeah.
Right. And you've tried, but you have no control over it. So all you can do is be there with him and contribute energy. You know what I mean? Like
I think it's like,
for sure.
Well, the other thing too is it's like, I mean, if we were willing to get parenting wrong for today, like if you're listening to this and you went, all right, so if I was the worst parent on the planet today, what would I choose? And they give this to you guys as home play. Okay, I'm going to be the worst parent on the planet today. Now, with that, are you more caring? Do you have more? Now I just keep thinking of Karen. Karen. Are you more Karen? Are you more caring do you have more in your world with it? Like, if you didn't have to, you're watching too much TV, you're playing too many games, you eat too much, you whatever. It's like, if you're willing to be the worst parent in the world right now, would you be more in question about what's actually going to create more with you and your kids? Now, this is the part I want to like tie this up with you with is it's like, it's still that place of, see, I talk about that, but the energy is, yeah, but if I do that, my kids are going to walk all over me. If I do that, I'm putting out these beasts into the world. If I do that, I'm letting loose monsters. Yeah, but
maybe now is the time to let the monsters loose.
let the monsters loose based on choosing being a monster from their awareness,
Yeah.
not from their resistance to your control.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the thing with helicopter parenting is it's like one of the things we do, and I did it, was my parents tried to control me and I went, not going to happen. Hello, can't put baby in a corner.
Well, that's the thing, is how long did control ever actually last?
Never. It doesn't.
You
But
know?
that's what we think that if we can get that control right because our parents didn't, then we can learn how to parent and be the right parent rather than, okay, what's going to work today?
Yeah.
And the other thing I want to give with this is everything that you, so all the relationships that you, everything that your relationship is with your child right now, where you destroy and uncreate it.
Yeah.
Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine, shorts, boys, millions. And if you do that every morning when you wake up, you get to look at this little creature and go, hi, how are you today? Where did you come from? Like, imagine, and once again, it's like saying that, people would go, oh, that's airy fairy, the no, that's from the soul of, okay, today's a new day. Who is this person in front of me? Who am I today? What can we create? I'm being a little intense, aren't I?
No.
Never. Once I get off this, I'm gonna judge myself. I'm kidding. But it's like, but I'm like, because see, I'm really grateful that I'm a parent too, because I could never talk about this if I hadn't. If I was going to say I've been one, but I still am one. So, damn it,
Well,
that's the job that follows you forever. But it's like, but so the thing that I get to with this is when I'm talking about it, because it's like we need pragmatic tools also. Like you
so
would go,
what are your top, like, what would be your top 5 pragmatic tools
I would say being
that
questioned.
every
Definitely.
parent should be armed with during and beyond COVID?
Well, first of all, I would say, um,
You said being questioned.
well, let me start with something else. I want to do something else with this is what is it I'm hiding from myself, everyone else, what is it I'm hiding from everyone, including me, in order to create myself as the right parent I've decided I need to be in order to be a parent, am I choosing? Everything that is times a godzillion, we destroy and uncreate it.
Yeah.
We're right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine, shorts, boys, millions. So what is it? What is it I'm hiding from everyone, including me, in order to get parenting right so that I can be the right parent? What did I say? I truly be for all eternity. I'm changing it. Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine, shorts, boys, millions. The next part is, I would say, is get honest. How would you like to parent? Who's in front of you? What kids do you have? What do they require? What do they desire? What do you require? What do you desire? And be honest about it. It's like
I can't
what
imagine if I had more than one. That would be like two totally different monsters. So,
that it, it would I
but
just
that's
don't see
brilliant.
how it would work.
But that's brilliant how it's like, who's in front of you? Because every kid's different.
Yeah.
How I am with Tristan, if I had another one, it would probably be a totally different beast. So the people out there that have like 4 kids, I don't know how you do it, but it's amazing. But yeah, every single kid's different.
Yeah. They're all different. And it's like, and that's the thing that keeps popping in my head right now that I'm trying to, it's like, is that part where you're like, where it's like, because I can feel it in people's worlds going, well, yeah, but I've got 4 kids and I'm poor and I'm fucking living on the streets and I'm trying to make it easier. Is that's what we're trying to get to, guys? I get that. But
Hey, will you talk about asking, this is now becoming a very long one, but asking your kids to contribute? Because
yeah,
one thing that I've noticed, like if Tristan starts asking me for whatever, he's demanding. He wants to fly business class. If he flies,
well, let me ask you a question though.
yeah,
Does he?
yes.
He gets everything he wants.
Wait,
But
what?
let me ask you, does he get everything he wants?
No, but go ahead. What are you asking?
Well, you get everything you want
Most of the time.
all of the time. Cheeky. You always get it, but you get what you ask for because you're willing for him to contribute to it.
Yeah, but I also ask him, like I include his energy as well.
That's the big part is you include his
If you
energy.
have 4 kids and you're struggling, ask them, hey guys, what can you guys contribute to
Well, also,
make this all a little bit easier?
yeah, and I just want to, with that, like if you're watching this right now and you're just going, this is where my life's at. Make one choice right now. Okay, where it's like, okay, this is where my life's at. My life sucks. This is what's going on. I'm like, I can't work. I've got no money. Okay, that's what is. That's what's in front of you right now. Okay, what's a different choice I can make in the next 10 seconds? And hopefully I can get more into that part in the next one. But you've got to see, we create our lives based on the energy we're willing to be in every moment. You'll notice, like, if you're feeling like crap, are you having a good day? No, you're having a shitty day because that energy is what's creating your day. This is what we do in life, though. So if you go, okay, I'm having a shitty day, my life sucks, my kids suck, I suck, I'm the worst parent in the world. Okay, let it out. What's a different choice I can make right now? Oh, I'm gonna smile for a minute, even if I'm the unhappiest person on the planet. I'm gonna do that. Make a different choice, though. You've got to start with something like that, is make a different choice.
And a
Now,
choice.
if you think I'm the biggest asshole on the planet right now, correct, because the only way I'm going to get you guys through this is by you choosing something different.
And choosing something different can be as simple as asking a question like, universe, show me something beautiful.
Okay, so let's do that. So, what energy, space, consciousness, choice, magic, miracle, mysteries, and possibilities can I be right now to be the question that would allow me to change everything that's not working for me with total. Everything that doesn't allow that times a godzillion, we destroy and create it.
Yeah.
Right? You stop potting me. What's
I'm lazy. I'm just, sitting back.
lucky you're so cute. Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. So, what energy, space, consciousness, choice,
Tired.
magic, miracles, mysteries, and possibilities can you be to be the question that would allow you to change everything that's not working with you with total ease? Everything doesn't allow that. Times a godzillion where you just try and uncreate it.
Yeah.
Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine shorts, boys and millions. Okay. I think I'm done.
Okay. Thanks
Are
for
you
having
done?
me.
Thanks for being on here.
Check out the website that he's got there. There's books and lots of stuff. Dane's that it's like an hour and a half long. He did a what is it called? You Got This on
Oh,
how to not kill your kids, a special COVID edition.
yeah, and it's
I
brilliant.
may not have talked to him right before he recorded it, but I was having a moment. So and really,
yeah,
he walks you through it. You could be brand new to Access, you could be an oldie. It doesn't matter, but it showed me so much where with parenting and with the school stuff and with all the stuff that's going on right now with the COVID stuff, that somewhere I decided I didn't have a choice because of elements of it that were stuck in, the COVID reality or whatever. But it's like you can change anything if you're willing to ask these questions and pock and
yeah.
pop and use your superpowers. And it doesn't have to be hard. So
It doesn't. And as we got to on the one, all of life comes to me with ease, joy, and glory. All of life comes to me with ease, joy, and glory. All of life comes to me with ease, joy, and glory. All of life comes to me with ease, joy, and glory. All of life comes to me with ease, joy, and glory. All of life comes to me with ease, joy, and glory. All of life comes to me with ease, joy, and glory. All of life comes to me with ease, joy, and glory. All of life comes to me with ease, joy, and glory. Okay. Thank you, Megan.
thank you, Brendon. Thanks, everyone.
Bye. See you soon.